All right. Hello, knockouts. Tanya TKO here. And it is late night. I can't sleep. I've been awake since 3:30 in the morning. I appeared on a Nigerian radio show, and 9:30 a.m. for them was 3:30 in the morning for us. So I've been awake since 3:30 in the morning. And hey, good evening or good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. And so we were talking about US politics. I don't know why people in other countries are so you know what? I think I kind of get why people in other countries are so, I don't want to say fixated, but aware of what's happening in America right now, because the elections are tomorrow, right? Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. So the elections are tomorrow. If you early voted, put up okay, let's see. If you early voted by mail, put up the number 1. If you early voted in person, put up the number 2. If you're going to vote on election day tomorrow, put up the number 3. And I want to hear your reasons why you did it either way. So I requested a ballot early, but I knew that I wanted my vote to count on election day. Who you vote for is your business. We're in some very divisive times right now, and I just think that it's important for people to. Okay, so Chuck did his by mail. Then we have looks like most people went in person to vote, and then we have people who are going to go tomorrow and vote on election day. And I want to find, and then Maria is not paying attention to instructions and just putting up any number. There's no 4 in this. Is 4 that you're not going to vote? Look, if you if you are choosing not to vote, I don't care about, you just do whatever you want to do. Let the rest of us, just, you could go on and log out of the broadcast. I don't have much respect. I'm sorry, I don't have much respect for people who are choosing not to vote. We are in some dire situations right now. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. Okay. So Hulu is saying I don't trust any other way. So listen, we are broadcasting live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter, Periscope. And so it's early in the morning. Sun has not come up. It is raining in New York. It's just, or at least it sounds like it's raining. It's dark. I just looked at the weather. It doesn't show that it's raining in New York, but it sounds, when you hear the cars passing by, that could be morning dew. It could have finished raining. I don't know. And so people are saying, look, I've already said if you have chosen not to vote, that is your business. That you're not, stop trying to be a part of the conversation. I'm asking voters, I'm asking voters. If you're not a voter, you don't have to participate. You know what I'm saying? So Victoria's on the West Coast. It's 3 a.m. out there. That's where I was 3 hours ago. Oh, gosh. And Lloydia is saying, that's not fair. It's the choice to or not to judgment. It's like the people on Facebook are a real special breed of people. Like sometimes I don't even broadcast live on Facebook because the people on Facebook, people act like I'm not a human being and like I don't get annoyed. I'm human just like you. I bleed each month just like you. And I was in someone's womb many years ago, just like all of you. And I get annoyed just like all of you do. And I find some people annoying. You know what I mean? I find some people annoying. Like some people are just ugh. Like some girl came onto my video. Some girl came onto my video talking about well, first it all started from some troglodyte who came out at questioning my matchmaking service, saying that I am racist for talking about race and demanding that in my matchmaking service I hook people up interracially. And I said, listen, honey, if that's what you're interested in, go to a different matchmaker. My service connects Black American women with Black men from the diaspora. It's very simple. So this troglodyte came out speaking her mess. Then some other person, I'm not going to start waging insults just yet. She came out talking about, ugh, your energy is yucky. You're yucky. How she's doesn't like my energy. And I'm like, listen, my content is not for you. You should find, I'm like, this isn't, the content isn't for you. And I had to explain to her how I was revolted by her energy, which her energy was like the way mayonnaise smells and sounds. You know, when you're moving it around in a jar and it has that sound like, you know, that squishy sound? That's how her energy was like. And I'm like, we don't all have to like one another, but Trick, you on my fan page. And the worst part about it is that the original troglodyte who came out writing was like, she has a right to be on my page. I said, no, honey, Facebook is not a governmental agency, you know, with your codified right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's like these people in their privilege. First, they want to go and destroy the world, decimate the world, create racism, uphold racism, and then come to you and say, if you're talking about race, then you are the racist after they've created these systems in place. It's strange and it's bizarre. It's bizarre and it's, ugh. It's bizarre. You know, listen. It's bizarre. It's strange. Like there's a lot of, I don't want to call these people weirdos, but there's a lot of just strange. I find certain people strange. It's like they want everything to be about them. And if it's not, they'll try to force you to make it about them. I'm repulsed by these people. I really am. I'm repulsed by them. And I see them creeping and crawling up onto my page, looking all blanched. And it's weird. It's weird. You know what? Tanya is saying she had to look up the word troglodyte. Child, listen. They out there. They're among us. They're among us. They're among us. This is why I'm so glad when we did our DNA, there was no Neanderthal. Listen, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's move forward because there are people with Neanderthal DNA. I'm just happy that none of that is in my genetic makeup. I'm just glad about that. So let's listen. I don't want to say too much. I've said enough. I've said enough. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So, how many of you, if you've seen the movie Good Hair, put up the number 4. If you listen, put up the number 4 if you've seen the movie Good Hair. If you haven't, then then that's on you, right? You haven't heard of it. That's fine. I just heard about it. I think I saw like a trailer for it months ago, but then I just came upon it because we were doing like a Halloween marathon, right? What did you all think of this movie Good Hair? Listen, what would you have done differently? My sister says she would have cut the thing out of her hair when it first sucked onto her finger, right? She said she would have cut it out of her hair. I said I would have done the same thing, except I would have been going around to my enemies. I'd be like, you did me wrong. What would you have done differently? Because no. I think Chris Rock's was called Good Hair. This movie, this movie was called Bad Hair. So this hair was attacking people. It was a movie about the journey of this woman who has she is very tightly coiled 4C hair, right? And she for to save her job, she decided to get a weave, but the weave had a thirst. The weave had a thirst that she just couldn't quench. Now, listen, I don't know if I would have made it past the Menzies part. I don't know. But no, it was called Bad Hair. It was called Bad Hair. Goodness. So listen. No. It's called Bad Hair, but the hair had a thirst she could not quench. It's too much. It was too much. I was frightened. I was frightened at the latter part when when she decided to just lay on the floor and smoke a cigarette. I was frightened because I was like, "What you gonna do, sis?" I was like, "What you gonna do?" I didn't know what she was gonna do. So Fatima is saying it was horrible. So you didn't like the movie. So what would you have done different? What would you have done different? Oh goodness. Listen. Okay, so Yamiya would have left the job. Well, remember this was in the 90s and this was her dream. Because if she would have left that job in the 90s, where was she going to go? If she couldn't be herself at culture, where could she be herself? You know what I mean? So Tanya, no, this is a new movie that came out. It's a new movie. It's a new movie. So me would have cut it all off. Oh, gosh, I hear you. I hear you. So that is that. What's the next topic up for grabs? What's the next topic? Did you all see the video with that young lady who's talking about let your man cheat in peace? She actually came out to the video. She came out to the video and she was commenting in the comments area. And she was going on and on. I had to delete most of her comments because she cut and pasted her comment about 70 times. And I was like, this is too much. It was too much because she was going up and down the comments. Anybody who didn't agree with her, she was cutting and pasting her comment over and over. And then I realized that there was in the same way that her advice was indicative of poor judgment, her doggone behavior was indicative of poor judgment as well, right? You know what I'm saying? I was like, gosh, and she I had to tell her, "Look," I was like, "Listen," I was like, "This is inappropriate." I'm like, "Yes, please respond to people, but cutting and pasting," because she was like cutting and pasting her link and trying to get viewers and stuff. And the thing is, listen, everybody's going to resonate with a different message. If she would have come to me and been like, "Oh, can you put my link in the description?" I would have gladly done that. But it was like, it's weird. And I told my sister about this behavior. And my sister was like, "So the woman who was talking about give your man peace doesn't want to give a black woman some peace." Because she was acting a damn fool in my comments. I didn't understand it. And I went after I told her I was going to have to block her. I was like, "I encourage you to go back through and delete all of these cut and paste messages." It's like, come on. Ugh. It was just so nonetheless. And my me is saying, if you can't take criticism or people disagreeing with you, do not put your opinion out there. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I listen, that is true. That is true. And Leslie is saying her self-esteem hasn't matured yet. The crazy part about it is that I have Black men who are coming out, and they're like, this is why African women make better wives and all this other stuff. And I'm like, a person with no self-esteem you think is gonna make, or no self-love, no self-worth, no boundaries, or low, not no, because everybody has some level of self-worth. But a person with no boundaries is gonna be what you consider to be a good match. It's like, ugh. Like, people like that could never come into my matchmaking service. If you're looking for somebody, Pia is saying, how nasty is that? Community penis and infection. Listen. Wait, Willie is saying 5 Blacks in my family is not voting. Leavening, you know what leavening is? That's like that's something that helps the dough rise. Leavening powder, it helps dough. I believe leavening helps things rise, right? Or is it? I think it's pronounced leavening. Leavening it up to God. One is voting for Trump. I have lost respect for them all. They will not lift a finger to help their own people. They have lost their blackness. Better not hear them complain about anything this nut do in their children or family. They will get some choice words from me and others. I hear you. And Bobby is saying there is nothing wing with American men or women chemistry, just ain't right for some us. Man, I know it's early, but you need to do better than this, man. What you talking about? Nobody can understand that. Ms. Logic is saying, I'm curious about Tanya's perspective on Tasha K fiasco. I don't even know what's happening with Tasha K. But listen, you listen, you live by the fiasco. I I don't want to say more. Listen, but with fiasco comes the people who put fiasco out there. You know what I mean? Oh goodness. And Tanya has been rather vulgar in the comments lately. They want rag dolls with a hole in the middle. I can't even imagine. That sounds gross. Because a rag doll doesn't even, you can't wash out a rag doll. That's gross. It's going to get dried and sticky in there. Not even sticky, but dried and crusty. Chamika is saying she's like a Candace Owens searching for relevant. Lot of mercy. They're codependent themselves. They want a woman who will give and not take so they can take without giving. Listen, I hear you. I hear you. Oh, so here we go. My stepdad is Nigerian. A lot of Nigerians leave their wives and children behind. Meanwhile, they will live it up in America. That sounds like some F stuff right there. Can I say fuck shit? That sounds like some fuck shit. And Sophia is saying, Tanya, I adore you. We have a person in the audience named Tanya, so I don't know if she's talking to her, because my name is spelled with an O. So if you're talking to me, you need to spell my name right. Call me anything. Oh, goodness. So Piper is saying, if Trump wins another 4 years, are you leaving the States for the last of his reign? You think I'm staying on this ship? This ain't the Titanic, and blacks wasn't allowed on there. So listen, I ain't going down with the ship. That ain't gonna be me. I make my money online. I will send my stock to Amazon, and you all can buy it from there. You will see me with a backpack with the breeze to my face. So that lesbian, what type of? I got caught off guard by that name. All right, so that lesbian says Somali guys leave wives here and marry 3 wives back home. My cousin did this. His wife is a sweetheart, and this S is heartbreaking. Listen, polygamy and cheating are very different things, you know. And Precious is saying, if you are voting only because someone is a racist, you need to learn politics. Trump to win. I'm confused. What will y'all think Biden is going to do? Oh, shut up. It's like, listen, this is coming out with you. Listen, you could do better than that, too. You could do better than that. Oh, Lord. Nobody told me what was happening with Tasha K. Listen, I don't know, but I don't watch certain channels. I keep my peace. I'm not really into the gossip type channels, especially like as the pandemic has roared on. I just have been less and less interested in like gossip type of stuff. And Teresia is saying it's unfortunate because a lot of women think like her over here. Yeah, you know what? A lot of women, a lot of men too. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. MP is saying, you were right, Tanya. African women looked really broken and defeated when I visited. It was heartbreaking. I'll say this, right? When I went to, you know what? I don't remember seeing many Ghanaian women out and about when I was in like I didn't see them working in the hotel. And you know what? No. Yes. I did see at one hotel, at the larger scale hotels, I didn't see the Ghanaian women. I seen mainly men. At the smaller boutique hotels, I did see some Ghanaian women. Um, they didn't look defeated in Ghana. In Nigeria, Nigeria was a whole different situation. And I think this is why a lot of Nigerians like Trump, because they really don't really know what the functioning government looks like. Listen, I'm only telling the truth. I'm only telling the truth. If you don't know what functioning government looks like, you can look at a person like Trump, and that could be just what you're used to, like any type of dysfunctional relationship. You know? Kefir is saying, give men peace, yes, but I don't agree with cheating. I don't agree with a person bringing havoc getting peace. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the havoc is. Connie is saying if Trump wins, he will not help anyone. He is saying what it rages to win, then he will play golf and slaughter the poor and ignore everyone. Listen. So Tasha K had an interview with Jaguar Wright. It was crazy. I don't know these people. I don't know Jaguar Wright. Was Jaguar talking about? Little Flower saying, Tani, these African men are community penis and obsession with light skin and white women. I would say it depends on the man, really. Because and then another thing that you have to realize is that colonialism was rampant in many African nations. So I think in the nations where it was rampant, like in India, India was colonized. And like these people were sick. Like people who colonized were sick, sickos. And so, a lot of these people have the have the remnants. A lot of these people have the remnants of that dysfunction. You know what I mean? And people are talking about the peace. What do they mean? Give you peace, ignore bad behavior. If you're giving your man peace, why is it that he only gives havoc and hell? Listen, people have to, do what they feel is right for them. And Precious is saying, you are correct. Nigerians do not know what a functioning government looks like. I must agree with that. And yeah, is so Bobby has come back with his typing fingers fully awake this morning. And he says, Nigerians like Trump. I didn't know that. Didn't he say places, or actually he done lost his punctuation around there. Didn't he say like places like that are S-holes? He did. But it's like the whole abuse, trying to please your abuser. It's like if you abuse a dog, like I was really surprised. I was watching some hidden footage. This woman put up hidden footage to see what was going on in her house, and she saw her boyfriend abusing her pit bull. And pit bulls can be very vicious, right? But what I saw, oh, excuse me, what I saw was the dog constantly whimpering, going to the man to get abused. Like he was hoping to be, like he would go to the man to be comforted, and then the man would abuse him. And the dog would just kind of cower into himself and look for approval from the abuser. And so there are a lot of Black people out there who they just they're just stuck on their abuser. Victoria says the Blacks that are voting Trump, did they forget what he is truly, business with his stand back and stand by? Some of these people feel like they should be wiped out. Listen, some of these people have self-hate. So who is Jaguar, and what was this whole thing about? Let me look it up on my phone. Let me look it up because I don't know what this is. Let me look it up. Since none of you are explaining, or I'm not seeing the explanation. Okay, let's see. So let's see what happened. So, so Jaguar is a woman? I don't know nothing about this. So what? Wait, Jaguar, what the hell? I don't know what's going on personally. So Jaguar is a neo-soul singer that has come back to expose the evil of the music world. Okay, so how did that backfire? Jaguar Wright used to sing with the Roots. She's out in the music industry. She's going off on Mary J. Blige, Joe Scott, Erykah Badu, and others. Sing what? So Tasha did her wrong. Now she's on YT crying. I don't know. I don't understand. So how did things go wrong? I don't understand. So Little Flowers is saying, who cares? Listen, I'm trying to find the relevance too. I'm trying to find the relevance too. So, and why would you all want to know what I think about this mess? And you know what? That's the thing. A lot of fans like to get content creators into junk. Listen. So what is she saying about our sweetie Jilly from Philly? What does she say about Jilly? I want to hear. Common apparently graped her. What? But then, if a person makes an allegation, how many others have come forward with similar allegations? Is there any substantiation? You wants people to marry him or her. So Miss Logic is saying, have y'all not heard the racist comments made Biden has made for the last few decades? Wow, he's an open racist. Listen, if you all wanted a person who was non-racist, you all would have picked a person who was non-racist. Now at this point, listen, what white person in 2020, what white person from the 60s who sat by and watched all those atrocities going on, what white person didn't is not complicit in this country? I want to know which white person is not complicit either by active participation or by their silence. Come on. There's no rest for the weary, for the wicked. So, oh gosh, you all are talking foolishness in the comments. I listen, vote or not vote. And that lesbian is saying Black folks need to learn and build up so that it won't matter who is in office. Thank you. It's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do what are we going to do to get what we want? Okay, so I know that you're a racist. What are we going to do to get what it is that we need from the racist system and the racist? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are we going to do? And Yamiya is saying basically is a choice of the lesser of two evils. We have to choose one precisely. And Tanya is saying, people follow you, LOL. People follow you, LOL. And Slayer is saying, I just vote, but I don't expect much no matter who is in office. No, we need to expect much. We need to call up our Congress people. We need to call up the people who represent us in the House and in Washington. So there are a few different ways that our politicians represent us, right? So our politicians go up to your state capital and they advocate for you from the state capital, right? And then every once in a while they can go down to the United States Capitol, which is DC, and advocate for you there. But you need to stay up on them. You need to contact them. You need to see what it is that they're doing. Don't just hand out your vote or your punani. Make sure you're getting what you need. And if you're not, stay on top of them. Stay on top of them. And Piper is saying the group American Descendants of Slavery addressed that question. They asked for reparations and got the bill passed in California. All right. So good morning. Good morning. And listen, I don't care about no Jeffrey Epstein Island. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Right at this moment, right now, we have the lesser of two evils to vote for, not somebody Brother Island and all this other stuff. I'm not concerned about that right now. You know? And Kenya is saying the phrase "the lesser of two evils" is the dumbest thing ever said when it comes to voting. I heard the term in the chat room a few moments ago, and I agree with it. Like, lesser of two evils. Let's go. Let's go. If you think it's dumb, think it's dumb. I don't think the phrase cares about your point of view. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the phrase cares about your point of view. And Jacoya is saying the media also doesn't focus on the other elections, but this one, which really doesn't matter, we have to go back and vote at the next election that's not so popular. No, these elections matter because the person who goes into the Supreme Court is chosen by the president. Both elections matter. The in-between elections, the local elections, and the national elections, they matter. They matter. They matter. And so Ebony is saying the phrase comes from an ignorant plenty of fish. I don't know what we're talking about now. We talk about online dating sites now. And so Cocoa Puff saying Black Americans want to be accepted by these racists. And Darius is saying, why vote when it doesn't matter? You think your vote counts? No, it doesn't. If your vote didn't count, they wouldn't be gerrymandering and they wouldn't be trying to stop your vote from counting. We live in a democratic republic. This is the sad part is that there's so many Black men who are so ignorant. It's like you can't really follow them because they're not leaders. They out here sounding stupid. Excuse me. They're out here sounding ignorant, looking ignorant. I got me and Famila was on the same page, child. And Lioness is saying it's called illusion of choice. You know, I think that right there is the illusion because we do have a choice. There's always a choice. And local elections matter. It's like this is how Black people just stay fucking ignorant. Excuse my language, but we just stay fucking ignorant because a lot of your states out there have sheriffs, and the fucking sheriffs are determined by the in-between elections. So you could think that you don't have no goddamn choice. See, you all be making me cuss and carry on. You can make it seem like you can act like you don't have no damn choice, but the difference in who the fuck is sheriffing you, come on, get your Black ass up and go out there and do something. The fuck? It's like too many of you are just too fucking ridiculous. It's like, come on, get up off your goddamn Black asses and do something. You vote for the district attorney, you vote for the sheriffs, you vote for the people who go into the lower courts. So it's like when your dumb ass kids are out there in the doggone court and you have a judge that is sitting up there that is sending your Black ass child up the river, just remember that you thought you had the illusion of choice, and just remember that your Black ass sat out of the elections while you sitting across from a racist ass judge who was voted into office. So come on, when the fucking sheriffs pull your Black ass over and they got them only you can beat forest fire hats pulling up onto the side of your car with their fucking finger on the side of their goddamn pistol handle, then you think about how your Black ass didn't fucking vote because you thought that you didn't have no choice. It's like, come on. If your vote didn't matter, Republicans wouldn't be trying so hard to silence your vote. It's like, wake the fuck up. Our ancestors realized how important it was to vote, but now all of a sudden we sitting here acting stupid. We sitting here acting stupid. You know what I mean? Come on. Come on. Now troglodytes is the word of the day. Oh. And Zakia saying, I remember the phrase back as far as the 50s when I was young. My parents used it to mean that neither candidate truly supports our agenda. and need. So the one who comes closer was considered as the lesser of two evils. Listen, we need to do something and we need to stay on these people and we need to keep the heat on them. We need to keep the heat on them. And it's like, okay, so then maybe your black ass needs to get up and run for fucking office then. It's like, I'm so sick and tired of black people just sitting back. One of the things that I noticed in when I was looking at the ballot is that many of these people are uncontested. Nobody's running against them. So get your black ass up, go put together a campaign. If you feel that people are not doing something, I mean, look at the difference that AOC has made by being in Congress. If you feel that the people are not representing you the way that you feel that it needs to be represented, get up. So many of you all with your damn fast asses had kids 20 years ago. Get your damn kids up and get them to go vote because now because now one person has now turned into two votes. So go take you and your damn big ass babies that are now all grown and thinking they grown. Go take their big asses to the poll and have them vote as well. You know what I'm saying? And Audrey is saying that ish costs major money. How much does it cost? Go do what you need to do. If the person is running uncontested, how much does it cost to just get yourself on the ballot? How much does it cost? I bet you don't know how much it costs. You're just going to sit there and say that it costs too much. Lioness, go and listen. I'm a Leo and you making Leos look bad. Hush your mouth. Listen, hush. Go. This is the system that we have. Are you in law enforcement? Are you in the judicial system? Or are you just on Facebook just complaining? It's like, what the fuck are you going to do? You about to get put in timeout because you're becoming annoying. You're becoming annoying with your damn foolishness. So Gregory is saying it costs $100. Someone else is saying nothing. It costs nothing. You can run on your name alone. This is what I'm saying. It's like people just want to sit down and complain. You think that you're doing something by just complaining on Facebook. Like I said, you all with your little fast asses who went out there 20, 25 years ago having kids all young. What did you do to steer your children towards a path in the justice system? Or you just sitting up there with your damn head wrapped, wearing some ankhs, with a piercing in your nose, talking about the system and the man? Or is your black ass going to do something about it? And if this country is not operating in the way that you feel that this country needs to operate, which country are you going to? Or are you just going to sit here and complain? It's like, do something, move. Go renounce your American citizenship, go move to another country, or don't renounce it. Just make sure that you do it in a way, you matriculate in a way that's not matriculate. What's the word? Expatriate in a way that is legal. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. And Gregory's saying if you want your name on the ballot, it's $100. Listen, don't be surprised when you see me running for office. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised when I'm like, look, vote for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why are you going to sit there? Why are you going to sit there saying nothing, doing nothing? And so Mrs. is saying some people can't vote because they have a criminal record, and people are working on getting the right to vote for ex-cons reinstated. You know what I'm saying? Sophia is saying complain at the polls. Rodriguez is saying stop bashing people for how they were shown to live or was taught to be white by blacks. I was taught to be black by whites. Thank you so much for your participation in the conversation. So look, I already got one vote. Maria's voting for me. See what I'm saying? Right, exactly. So look, watch me run for office in a few years. Just watch. Trump has lowered the precedent so low that anybody you don't have to feel like you need to be perfect or nothing. Just go out there and run. That's it. So I got several votes in the comments here. Gregory saying how many ex-cons will vote doesn't matter. Let them get the right and let those choose to. Narcissism is saying FEMA camp and mandatory vaccine. No thanks. What FEMA camps you talking about? What FEMA? If you know how much money FEMA spends, please. I went to doggone Puerto Rico and did a little stint with FEMA. FEMA spends so much money. What FEMA camps are you talking about? What FEMA camps? And Delise is saying, I'm new to your channel. I'm behind you all the way. We need more women like you. I hear you, sis. So a lot of people are saying they'll vote for me. I ain't running just yet. But just you know what? It's like, let's see. Let me go become an assembly person. You know what I'm saying? Watch. Let me go become an assembly person and go get myself down to Congress and see what changes we can make. They're not going to want me on the floor because I ain't going to be the one standing up in Trump face. Well, he won't be there, but I ain't going to be the one standing up in any president face holding my tongue because too many people are letting this man baby go run rampant through this country, and they just standing there all conservative and all, oh yes, he need to be cussed out. Trump needs to be cussed out. And Jolanda is saying, you're Black, you're going to be held to a higher standard if you try to run. That dummy we have in office is a shame on our nation. I don't care what standard people think we're going to be held to. Look at Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum. He's Black. I don't care about people's respectability politics. I don't care about none of that. I don't care. And if you stand up, if you keep yourself in their mental and psychological prison, you will always be in one. You will always be in one. And Fashionista saying, you guys should really do your research on Biden and family. It's real deep. He should be in jail. Listen, all these mother effers should be in jail. Trump should be in jail. Biden should be in jail, but Biden is on the ticket. Listen, I worked for the Bernie campaign, doing phone bank calls and all of that. But you all didn't choose Bernie, did you? You all chose Biden, so he's the person on the ticket. So you want 4 more years of Trump or another decrepit white man who also has issues. I'm tired of Trump. And Mojo is saying swapping one racist for another resume doesn't lie. You know what? Listen, you all getting on my damn nerves. I'm going to play my video because y'all getting on my nerves now. Let me go play my video. Listen, people talking about he should be in jail. Look at the smooth ball head on Gregory, ladies. Or gentlemen, you never know out here nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Look at that milk dud over there. Am I saying people should vote for Biden? I'm saying people need to vote Trump out. What is the way to get Trump voted out? There's only one way to get Trump voted out. So listen, take it how you want it. I'm tired of Trump. I'm going to play my video because y'all talking junk in the audience right now. So let me just go play my video. Here we go. Let me get my thing up and running. All right. Here we go. Okay, so here, I was in another segment. I haven't gotten the video for this yet. This is why I haven't put it up. And this is how to talk politics. How to talk politics with your loved ones.
People who have already voted. It is making politics a big topic of conversation around households right now, and differing opinions can pose a lot of problems, especially if it comes to you versus your significant other.
Ashley Matthews spoke with a relationship expert on how to make sure to keep the peace with this hot button issue. It's advice that sure comes in handy right now. Ashley.
Oh yeah, Greg and Marianne. And I mean, you have an added element of social media too, which makes it so easy for you to argue with family members about politics even at a distance. So you've probably seen on social media, everybody has something to say about politics right now, and it's really dividing a lot of people. So we want to speak with a relationship expert on, you know, some practices to follow right now, especially with your loved ones and significant others, if you do have those differing opinions on this topic. So this is what she had to say. It's important to know yourself and if you can successfully have conversations about politics right now. Do you find that you get in verbal arguments with people when politics is brought up if someone doesn't agree with you? If so, you may not want to even open up that door to talk about politics. You can also agree to disagree and keep conversations only about politics and the issues, not the candidates. Don't even bring up their names, and don't launch personal attacks. Also, don't try to change the other person and their opinions.
If you're going to be with someone long term, you're going to have to discuss politics. So respecting your partner, listening with an open ear without trying to change your partner. And my favorite is a safe word. You can say the safe word. The conversation will end immediately. You two go back to your respective corners, and you're able to maintain the love and the integrity in the relationship. Okay, you know what? Hold on.
Remember that relationship is very
Hold on. I should have put it in big screen so that you all can see, because apparently you all are still talking in the audience. You're not paying attention to what I'm doing. So we need to play that again. Here we go.
Up that door to talk about politics. You can also agree to disagree and keep conversations only about politics and the issues, not the candidates. Don't even bring up their names, and don't launch personal attacks. Also, don't try to change the other person and their opinions.
If you're going to be with someone long term, you're going to have to discuss politics. So respecting your partner, listening with an open ear without trying to change your partner. And my favorite is a safe word. You can say the safe word. The conversation will end immediately. You two go back to your respective corners, and you're able to maintain the love and the integrity in the relationship.
Very important there. And if nothing else, just remember that relationship is very important to you with your loved ones. So that should be more important than anything, including politics. Reporting live this morning, Ashley Matthews, NBC7.
All right. So what did you all think of my piece? I was featured on NBC.
NBC7's What's Up is sponsored by Bill Howe.
What is this still doing? No. Stop this mess. Okay. All right. So what did you all think of my piece? What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on my piece on NBC? Thank you all. Thank you. So yeah, so these are ways that we can discuss politics with loved ones, you know? Exactly. People are getting invited to Thanksgiving dinners. And you know what? I'm going to try to get this video up today. I'm going to try, because I've been trying to get the video, but I haven't been able to get it. But thank you. Thank you. A safe word. Thank you. That's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need, so that we don't burn our relationships. You know, the relationship is much larger than politics. All right. So listen, what else? One more topic, and then we're going to get out of here. One more topic, and then we're going to get out of here. I wonder if there's a way to I wonder if there's a way to end a broadcast on a particular uh station. Let's see. It looks like it looks like there's a way to, I might end the Facebook broadcast because the people on Facebook, are they really contributing positively or contributing in any way to this conversation? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Because because people on Facebook have been acting up this morning. So Deborah thinks Trump will win again. Trump is not going to win. Trump is out of there. Trump is gone. Richard wants to know if I think there's going to be a purge. No, there's not going to be a purge. Venus is saying the Electoral College will choose your president, not your vote. Let's see. How does the Electoral College get chosen? How does the Electoral College get chosen? Let's look into that. How do we dismantle the Electoral College? Tanya saying Facebook is the hood of social media. It really is kind of strange here. Oh. And so Tanya is saying the Electoral College is... Chantal said, I have the patience of a saint. Oh no, I was just cursing people out a few moments ago. So it's not that saintly. I never heard Mother Teresa. Well, Mother Teresa was a damn sadist. She wasn't who you think she was. She was a person who withheld pain medication from people and watched them suffer. Talking about suffering brings you closer to God. Listen, I lost all respect for her after reading her true life. Nana is saying the Electoral College is part of the game. Lean it in to play. Allie saying I was so sure he wouldn't win the first time. No, I knew Trump was going to win the first time because I was I was living in my car when that election came about. And when I was living in my car, I got a chance to travel out through rural California. And from talking to white people on the ground there, I saw what the sentiment was outside of mainstream and how people really loved Trump. I knew he was going to win the first time. This time around, he's not winning. You got to go out there. And so Ebony is saying, you don't even know who your Electoral College is. No, listen, let's educate ourselves. Let's educate ourselves. So Teresa doesn't know my story and you're on YouTube. The videos are right here, right on this page even. All you have to do is look in there's a playlist called Displacement for the Dream Diaries. I lived in my car an entire year. And that's how my book came about. The book of affirmation, self-love. This book, these are the most powerful affirmations I said to help me get out of living in my car. So yeah, it's like, you don't even know, you don't know. Listen. All right, let's do a search then. Let's do a search for the Electoral College, okay? Let's do a search. Let's okay. All right, so let's do this search. Let's get our thing here and let's get our screen together. Okay, so here we go. Who votes for the Electoral College members? It says, okay, here we go. Electoral College information. This is from the California Secretary of State. It says, unlike, I don't know if you can see this, unlike most elections, the person who becomes president is not necessarily the candidate who wins the most votes on election day. Instead, the election of the President of the United States is a two-step process. First, voters cast ballots on election day in each state. In nearly every state, the candidate who gets the most votes wins the Electoral College votes for that state and gets the number of votes or electors in the Electoral College. Second, the electors from each of the 50 states gather in December and they vote for president. The person who receives the majority of votes from the Electoral College becomes president. How exactly does this work? Under the Electoral College system, each state is assigned a certain number of votes. There are 583 electoral votes, and the number of votes each state receives is proportional to its size. So the bigger the state's population, the more votes it gets. The formula for determining the number of votes for each state is simple. Each state gets 2 votes for its 2 US senators, then 1 more additional vote for each member it has in the House of Representatives. For California, this means we get 55 votes. 2 senators and 53 members of the House of Representatives. So remember when I did that video last election, which was 2 years ago, the way that, so each county gets a representative that goes to Congress for them. So like if there's 15 different counties, each county gets a person to go to Washington to represent for that county. Right? I think these people are called assembly people, but don't quote me on that. So how does California select its electors? On or before October 1st of the presidential election year, each party's nominee must file a list containing the names, addresses, and telephone numbers of the 55 electors pledges to him/her. Each party determines its own method for selecting electors. In the Democratic Party, each congressional nominee and each U.S. Senate nominee determined by the last 2 elections designates 1 elector. Elections code section 7100, I don't know what that means. Oh Lord, listen, I need to take a break from this and come back to reading this real quick because I'm getting confused. Like I need somebody to explain this to me step by step by step. Okay? All right. So here. All right. Let's go back. Let's jump back in. Let's jump back in and continue reading. All right. Let's jump back in and continue reading. All right. In the Republican Party, the nominees for governor, lieutenant governor, treasurer, comptroller, attorney general, secretary of state, and a bunch of other people listed, right? President of the Republican county, representatives in Congress. There's just a whole bunch of people on this list. Republican state committee, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Must file the list with the Secretary of State by October 1st of the presidential election year. All right. In the American Independent, Green, and Libertarian Party, so each party has different ways. Okay. All right. So where can I find more information on the Electoral College? We go to this website. It says National Archives, the Electoral College. It's a process, not a place. The Electoral College is how we refer to the process by which the United States elects the president, even though the term does not appear in the U.S. Constitution. In this process, the states, which include the District of Columbia, just for this process, elect the president and vice president. So the Office of the Federal Register is a part of the National Archives and Records Administration. So let's see. I want to find out how these people get there, but it sounds like the people who we send, this is what it sounds like to me. And this is what it sounds like to me, right? It sounds like the representatives that we send, to Washington are the ones that choose the members of the Electoral College. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that what it sounds like to you? So it sounds like each person gets to choose the people who will be the representatives for the Electoral College. It sounds like there's 538 of them that align with the amount of people that we have sent to Congress. So we can do a little bit more research on that. Gregory Nixon is saying no. All right. Letitia is saying delegates are selected by local party committees. We just read in California how they're chosen. So TSC wants to post a video about the Electoral College explained on YouTube. Can you send that to me? Because if you post the link here, I won't be able to click the link. So can you email that to me real quick? If you go to my website, tanyatko.com, and click on contact, it'll send me an email, and then I'll click on the link, and then we can watch that together. All right. Is it a short video that people can be able to pay attention to? By all means, send it, and let's watch it together so that we can understand. Because I'm telling you, our votes count. Our votes count. If they didn't, people wouldn't be trying to siphon or silence our votes. However, our votes vote in voting blocks. So we vote, and our votes are then used to determine the area. Listen, I don't know exactly how to explain it because I'm not 100% on it myself. So it's like I'm waiting for this email to come in from this young lady. So basically, our area, we vote, and our area determines the number of people that are representing that area. So one thing that I knew is that when I was in California, right? When I was in California, the area that I was in was a Republican area. And so, look, I'm not exactly sure how it works. Gerrymandering, because a friend of mine was trying to explain gerrymandering to me years ago. Sounds like somebody in the comments has a better understanding. I think it's meant to be confusing for a reason. So listen, I'm waiting. I didn't get this email yet, or it's just early. My notifications are not on yet. Let me see. Nope, email hasn't come through yet. Oh, all I know is that the vote that you make goes into a block area, and that block area is then turned into a vote. So like if you're in a Republican area and most of the people in that area vote Republican, then you end up with a vote for that area. So like I was voting Democrat in a Republican area, and in that area, my vote, it didn't count in that area because I was in a Republican area. So most of the people there were going to vote Republican, and that was going to be the block that was sent sent up. So sent up as the vote. All right. All right, perfect. Okay. So Gregory's saying in Florida, it's by county. All right. So I'm waiting for this email with the link to the Electoral College thing. Let me log into my email so that I could get this link for you all. Give me just 1 second. All right, here we go. So we just got the email in about the Electoral College. So let's take a look.
If you watch the news during the presidential election.
Hold on. Let's get this up and onto the screen.
You'll hear a lot of
Come on, it's
what
like
do the
playing.
national polls look alike?
Hillary Clinton's national. Joe Biden is currently ahead.
But these national polls don't actually tell you who's going to win.
Throw the national polls out.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this. This is by Vox. It's an 8-minute video. So let's take a look at it. Why not? Why not? Let's go. All right, let me get my screen together. I need you to let me know if there's an echo.
You'll hear.
Is there an echo? Let me know. Well, Gregory's saying that's too long. Look, if you got someplace else that you need to be, by all means, you could go be where it is that you need to be. But we shall. So there is an echo. So I'm going to mute my microphone while we're watching this, okay? And then if I need to pause it, I'll bring my microphone back. But here we go.
Hear a lot of this.
What do the national polls look like? Hillary Clinton's national. Joe Biden is currently ahead.
But these national polls don't actually tell you who's going to win.
Throw the national polls out the window. They don't matter at all. What matters are those swing states.
Yes, the swing states. Most democracies around the world elect their head of state with a popular vote, so whoever gets the most votes wins. But in America, we do it a little differently. The US is the only country that picks its president using something called the Electoral College. It's made up of delegates from each US state. When Americans vote for president, what they're actually voting for is who their state will vote for. This is why, every so often, someone wins the presidency without winning the popular vote. That's happened twice in just the past 20 years. The majority of Americans do not like the system, and haven't for a long time. Both political parties have made attempts to get rid of it. So why does the US still use the Electoral College? And who actually benefits from it? The Electoral College is based on how people are represented in Congress, where each state has a number of representatives based on its population, and every state also gets 2 senators. So, for example, let's look at Texas, which has a huge population, and Vermont, which has a really small one. Texas has 36 representatives in Congress. Vermont only gets 1. Representatives in both states each represent roughly the same number of people. In the Electoral College, a state gets the same number of delegates as their congressional representatives, plus 2 for each senator. So Texas has 38 electoral votes, Vermont has 3. But this combination makes the number of people each delegate represents way different between states. In Texas, 1 electoral delegate represents 3 times the amount of people as 1 in Vermont. And that makes each individual person's vote in Vermont a lot more influential. The Electoral College creates discrepancies like this all over the country. A voter in Wyoming is worth 3.5 times as much as a voter in California. And the winner of the presidential election is the candidate who gets 270 or more of these Electoral College votes. These are the results of the 2016 election by state. You're probably more familiar with this version of it, a map of red states and blue states. But this chart tells a different story. You can see that no state is actually all red or all blue. But almost every state awards its electoral votes the same way. The candidate who gets the most votes in a state gets all its electoral votes. If they win the state by 1%, they win 100% of the electoral votes. In 2016, more than 4 million people.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to pause it right there real quick. I just wanted to pause it real quick right there. Because remember I was saying when I was in California, I lived in a red county, but California itself was a blue state. So my vote inside of a red county didn't make as much of a difference because the whole county was red, but the state itself was blue. So most of the counties in California are going to be blue counties, but I happen to be in a red one. But I think that this is what kind of explains that, how a state sends its vote in. So let's jump back into it. Let's jump back into it. And yeah, the Electoral College does need to go.
People voted for Donald Trump in California. In fact, more people. The candidate who gets the most votes in a state gets all its electoral votes. If they win the state by 1%, they win 100% of the electoral votes. In 2016, more than 4 million people voted for Donald Trump in California. In fact, more people voted for him there than in any other state except for 2. But it didn't matter. Hillary Clinton got more votes there, so she got all 55 of its electoral votes. Clinton never even campaigned in California. Polling showed she'd easily win the state. Trump only visited Texas once. He knew he'd basically had that state's electoral votes locked. But they both visited Florida 35 or more times. That's because Florida is usually a swing state. Polls show that the vote there could swing to one party or another nearly every election. Trump only won it in 2016 by 100,000 votes, out of more than 9 million.
I'm sorry, I need to play this again. I'm sorry. I need to play this again because I'm a little bit confused about California because I remember distinctly not feeling like my vote counted in California, but we still voted for sheriffs and stuff like that. So I still voted because that stuff is important, but let me just rewind it just a little bit because I want to understand. So if California is a blue state and most of the counties vote red, I just want to understand that again because I'm not getting it. Give me 1 second.
It didn't matter. Hillary Clinton got more votes there, so she got all. In 2016, more than 4 million people voted for Donald Trump in California. In fact, more people voted for him there than in any other state except for 2. But it didn't matter. Hillary Clinton got more votes there, so she got all 55 of its electoral votes. Clinton never even campaigned in California. Polling showed she'd easily win the state. Trump only visited Texas once. He knew he'd basically had that state's electoral votes locked. But they both visited Florida 35 or more times. That's because Florida is usually a swing state. Polls show that the vote there could swing to one party or another nearly every election. Trump only won it in 2016 by 100,000 votes, out of more than 9 million. Swing states have changed over time thanks to shifting demographics and political views. And it's states like these where presidential candidates spend most of their time campaigning. It also means these states have way more influence over the election than these ones. A study found that voters in Michigan had 51 times the amount of influence on the 2016 election as someone from a state like Utah. Voters in states like California or Missouri mattered very little. Swing states are where the election actually takes place. They get the attention and the influence, and they only exist because of the Electoral College. It doesn't seem very fair. But the Electoral College has always shifted power away from some people and towards others. It was how it was designed. Back when there were just a few states, not 50, they had to get all the states to agree on the Constitution. One problem. The northern states, which were largely anti-slavery, wanted only free people to count in the population towards electoral votes, which they had more of. The pro-slavery southern states were worried that they would be constantly outvoted and wanted enslaved people to count in determining the population. As a compromise, they settled on something called the 3/5 Clause. It established that an enslaved person would only count as 3/5 of a person. In 1800, Pennsylvania, a northern state, and Virginia, a southern one, had about the same number of free people living there. But Virginia was also home to hundreds of thousands of enslaved people who had no freedom, let alone a vote, and ended up with more votes in the Electoral College than Pennsylvania. That year, those extra electoral votes gave the candidate from Virginia just enough to win. Even after the U.S. finally abolished slavery and eventually gave Black Americans the right to vote, white Southern leaders found ways to keep them from voting, like with discriminating laws like poll taxes and acts of violence. This meant they continued to have overrepresentation in the Electoral College on behalf of a large population that couldn't vote. The first time Congress attempted to replace the Electoral College with a simple popular vote was back in 1816. But senators from southern states blocked it, saying it would be deeply injurious to them. In 1969, Congress came even closer. Replacing the Electoral College had support in both parties and even passed the House, but it was blocked again by southern senators. A senator from Alabama wrote, "The Electoral College is one of the South's few remaining political safeguards. Let's keep it. Why change a system that historically had and still was benefiting white Southerners?" Today, the states that the Electoral College benefits have changed, but it's still making some voters more powerful than others. If we look at the states with a lot of electoral votes for not a lot of people, and the states with a little electoral votes for a lot of people, these states are a lot wider and less diverse than the rest of America. And many of these states are Republican strongholds. These tend to vote Democratic. That's one reason the two most recent Republican presidents have won the Electoral College without winning the popular vote. And since it's currently Democrats that are primarily disadvantaged by the Electoral College, they're the ones leading the charge to replace it with a popular vote.
Get rid of the Electoral College and everybody.
But as politics have changed, the people most critical of the Electoral College have too. In the 1948 presidential election, New York ended up being the major swing state. A congressman from Texas said, "I have no objection to the Negro in Harlem voting, but I do resent the fact that his vote is worth 100 times as much as the vote of a white man in Texas." Swing states change. What doesn't is that the Electoral College gives certain people more power to pick the president. And its biggest defenders have always been those who benefit the most from it. Thanks to Absolute, who sponsored this video to remind all Americans
That's
to make
it?
the time to vote.
I know vodka ain't talking about vote. Come on now. All right. So that went by pretty quickly. How many of you understand the Electoral College better now? The thing that I don't understand about the Electoral College is that there are actually people from the Electoral College that vote. So the Electoral College is a process, yes, but there are actual electors that do vote. So listen, I understand a little bit better now because, but the thing that I don't understand is when I was in California and I was in a red county, did my vote count? Because from what it is that I know, or what it is that I thought, if you're voting blue in a red county, the county is the majority of the votes that happen in that county are the ones that's sent up. So like if a county votes red, then it's sent up as red, and then it's all tabulated. And then it is, I don't know. Or does it go statewide so that even if you're blue voting in a red county, if the majority of the people, because that's what it sounded like they said, 8 million people in California voted blue, 4 million voted red, and the person and the electoral votes that went to Washington were all 53 that went blue. We definitely need to get rid of the Electoral College. Listen. All right. My federal vote counted. Okay, so listen, I don't know. Listen, it's gone from being late into the night into being the morning. As you see, the sun has come up now. So I'm going to jump off of here. I'll read a few more comments. I want to go lay down now because I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. Because like I said, I was on that Nigerian radio show talking about our election. So Mara is saying it's different by state. You have to know the rules of your state. Okay, so Mojo is saying local votes are what counts. And Connie is saying it explains why so many Black people feel their vote wouldn't count. Gerrymandering and Electoral College are different. Yes, gerrymandering is what forces certain districts to be, so it splits, gerrymandering splits the geographic map so that more Republicans are gathered in a certain area rather than other areas. So like if you have a cluster of Democrats here, the people who gerrymander may cut off, a piece of the Democrats over here so that the majority of the people. So like when I was in California, I was in the Antelope Valley area. And so the Antelope Valley area is really big. And so they had like Santa Clarita and all of these different areas. And so all of these areas were turning out red because like the pockets of Black people were split into being in red areas. So like they would split like Palmdale. They would split Palmdale so that Palmdale had like half of, so let's say this is a neighborhood right here where there's Black people. They would take it and they would split off this amount and put it in the Santa Clarita area so that there were all of these Republicans from Santa Clarita and these little tiny pocket of like Democrats in the Palmdale area, so that the area was so large that it would be considered a red area. So that's the way that they did it. That's what gerrymandering is. The Electoral College is directly affected by gerrymandering because a red area is able to send their representative to Congress, and that person is who votes in the Electoral College. So they're very closely related. So like my representative that was supposedly representing me when I was in that area was a Republican. I mean, I voted against the person, but what difference was it going to make when this was a Republican area anyway? You know what I mean? So that was the representative that was in Congress. So like our sheriffs and all of these other people were voted in by people who may not have understood what it was that I was going through as a Black person in this area. So gerrymandering and the Electoral College are very closely related. And Letitia's saying this is why the U.S. Census is so important. Yeah, but you know what? I was actually hanging out with a Black person when the census came to their door, and he was like, these people want to be in my business. I'm not telling them all day, asking me who lives here and all this stuff. And I'm like, you need to let yourself be counted. But he was ignorant, and he did not let himself be counted. And I was like, it's dumb, just dumb, And he was Nigerian too. But I think that was part of the reason he didn't want to be counted, because he was Nigerian and I thought it was dumb personally, because I was like, be counted. We need to count all of the Black people, Nigerian, Haitian, Jamaican, Alawi, count us so that they know we're here. But he didn't want to give up his information and give them his details and all of that. So I don't know how many other Negroes out there didn't let themselves be counted. You know what I'm saying? So Edith, I'm using a very professional mic. I upgraded my entire system. I'm using radio station quality microphone, baby. This is how we doing it over here. This is how we doing it. And it gets even better when you're close up on it. You see how that sounds right there? Amazing, crystal clear audio right there, baby. You can't get better than that. Can't get better than that. So listen, on that note, I'm going to let you all get out of here. I hope you all learned something from this. I learned something. I learned a little bit, but there's still more that needs to be learned. Either way, get out there and vote. Vote, vote, vote. Don't let these people try to make you feel like your vote doesn't count. It does count. That's why they try to gerrymander you out of your vote. All right, I'll see you all in the next video. I'm tired now, exhausted. Peace. I'm going to delete these videos. But now we didn't learn some stuff in the video, but I was planning on deleting this. What do we do? What do we do? I don't know. I really don't know.